Hey y'all, I'm James Wright and welcome to Wizards News. Today I want to do a little bit of a special since it is Christmas Eve. We're going to be having a little bit of fun and making some predictions for the future. So Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everyone out there. If you do have any questions or things you want me to answer, go ahead and throw those in the comments. If you are watching this not live, you're watching this recorded, look down in the description below. You go down below the video, there's a little down arrow, you can click that and you can see all the questions that have been asked with a little timestamp that'll get you pretty close to where they are in the video. So we're going to be going through these today, and I'm going to be making some predictions about the year to come, as well as having a little bit of fun. I'd love to hear your ideas. What do you think is going to be happening? What is something you might want me to talk about? So, excuse me, I'm going to be actually reading through the chat. Now, if I miss your question or something like that, go ahead and make it big and bold or put a super chat on it, and that'll make sure I actually get to see it. So I'll try and keep up with those, but no guarantees, as this is often confusing. So a little bit about, I mean, if you really stop and look at where the game has come, gifts, the way the fortresses work, all of the other potions that have come along, there are a lot of quality of life. Just the general fixes and bug remedies have been phenomenal. How much work they've been putting into this is really surprising. And not to mention having a fan fest in the first year, which was I was not expecting that at all. They are really cranking this out pretty well. So I'm sorry, sore throat. Kombucha, best stuff out there. So I'm really looking forward to the next year. I'm expecting there will be a fan fest. I'm thinking the one last year was more or less a test bed for how is it working. The big question is, are they going to have it in other countries? I would expect them to have one in Europe. I would love for it to be like one in London. That would be perfect. And I kind of think that might be happening, but it really depends on the amount of people who are there playing. And that is something I don't know. From my demographics here on the videos, it seems like it's a little bit less in Europe than it is in America, but that could be because I am in America making videos, and I don't do them in French and Spanish and other European languages. So I'm kind of interested to see how they do that. My prediction is that this year it will be in the same place again in Indiana, as well as they'll have one in London. My prediction. We will see how that actually goes. I don't think that they'll move it around because they have a pretty good place there. And if you look at Pokemon Go, they haven't moved them around. Now in Ingress, they do move them around, so it'll be interesting to see how they go. Other things coming up, the next big thing that people are talking about is more skill trees and expanding the fortress structure. Now, since probably August or so, I've been saying it will not happen before the first year. It will not happen before the first year. And a lot of people are like, no, it'll happen anytime now. And it still hasn't happened. And I don't expect it to happen before the first of the year. But in seeing the trajectory and where they are now, I'm actually thinking that they're going to be expanding the skill tree and the fortress around June. I know that's going to scare a lot of people. But if you think about it, that is the 1 year mark and that is the flow over. I really think that is the time that they're doing. Now, the problem with that is that it leaves a large chunk of time that people aren't going to be as interested in the game. And so I'm thinking in between now and then, they will probably be putting out another set of like SOS tasks. Now, the SOS tasks that we got were more or less an introduction to the game. They took you step by step through how to play it, and they built you through all the little characteristics needed to play the game. But I think that they'll put in something else like that, something big with a lot of time gaps. In other words, things that you have to do once a day or for 5 days in a row or something of that nature, something that draws it out. I would expect something like that probably around March-ish. But again, I have no idea. It'll be kind of interesting. I'm thinking that is what will happen. And if any of you have any questions, go ahead and throw them in the chat, which is right over there right now, and I'm going to read through those. When will Oddities 5 come back? No one has seen any here since. I believe you're referring Oddities 5. The page with them. They are in the wild. They are incredibly rare, but they do spawn. So I'm assuming oddities, the extra ones like the dragons and the newer pages, those are going to be things that are tied up in events. So they only come out regularly for events and specific things. And I kind of like that because it gives you that rarity. Because in Pokemon Go, you have the rarity of shinies or really rare items that just don't spawn very often. And if you think about it, these are the rarities for Wizards Unite. There are entire pages that are you can see in the wild, but you probably don't see in the wild. and so because of that, I think that these will be things that they bring out for events to make the specialness of it, of like, ooh, come out for the event and you can get the escapee and other things like that. So I kind of think that will be something that they're holding on to them for that. Let's see, Dominic Schamlingsking. Sorry, I totally trashed that one. I was wondering, in each collection I have a page with a gold frame, but struggled to get other pages to bronze except for oddities. Yes, and that was actually one of the interesting things about the way they made this game. They made, in each section, they made one page that did not have any fortress foundables and did not have any really, really rare items. So in each section, there's one page that can be done rather quickly. And so that gives a bonus, a constant rolling of you're going to be able to prestige this page, you're going to be able to collect these items. And then all of the other pages, you have to do fortress grinding. And there are other things that are rare. There are red and orange flares that are very uncommon. And so it's an interesting way they made the game in that there are some pages that are very easy and everyone can get those to gold, and there are some pages that are not. And so you get that bonus feeling of, yes, I'm completing things with the easy pages. And then there are the other ones that are intended to be a multi-year grind to get them up to gold. And as they do add more things in the future. So that will be kind of fun. I do expect them to add far more pages. I'm kind of expecting like a new page every other month or so. That seems to be about what they've been going, or a little bit faster than that. So it makes it much more of an interesting thing. Now, the problem with that is if for some reason I was able to fortress grind everything and I got all my pages to gold, yay me, and then they put out a new page that has a fortress item in it. And now I have to grind that one up, but the amount of time I have to spend, I'm going to be getting all of these other fortress items that I don't need anymore. So I'm interested to see how exactly they work that in. Do they make it so you don't get the fortress items that you already golded? Do they make it so that you can get those specific fortress items other ways? This will be a very intriguing thing to get into. But anyway, when you look at the fortress foundables for the challenge registry, some of those are incredibly difficult, and there will be a lot of grinding going into that. Let's see, Space 2351. Do you think they will make potions like the X crit, like plus X crit chance for 1 hour? Maybe. I mean, there are some good ideas for that. I think that some of those things will actually be other skill tree advantages, because I'm expecting the next skill tree to be a much more broad tree as opposed to a vertical. So it gives you more options to go off into, but we'll see how that goes. As to potions, one of the things I am thinking they will do is I'm kind of expecting them to, well, one potion I really want to see is Felix Felicis. And so there are a bunch of potions in the code, one of them being Felix Felicis. And I have no idea what it's going to do, but my idea, what I would absolutely love to see it do, is it being an incredibly difficult potion to brew. In other words, it's something that takes a lot of different potion ingredients. It takes a couple different rare ones that you can only get from port keys and you can only grow, or things that are hard to get. And then it being like an entire day or a 2-day growing period, something that ties up in a cauldron for that entire amount of time. So you spend an immense amount of resources. And then when you get it, it only lasts for like 5 minutes, something incredibly tiny. And with that, it being Felix Felicis, in other words, everything you do suddenly succeeds. Every fortress battle you take on, every opponent is a one-hit knockout. Every foundable you find on the ground is an immediate return. And so you have 5 minutes of pure luck where everything happens exactly perfectly. You have a perfect RNG roll on everything. I think that would be kind of cool. It would make it something that you just don't brew that often, but every now and then you just want to go have a little bit of fun for a few minutes, and that would make it kind of a worthless potion, but in the same way, an incredibly fun potion that you can use every now and then when you just want that boost. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about it, rather than it being something that you use every day and brew all over the place. Yeah, there's several other potions in there. Several of them that are not canon. They're not in the books, or at least we don't think they are, but they look a little bit different. So I'm interested to see how those come out. I would like a little more time before a brilliant events. I'm interested to see what they do with that, because at the end of January, everyone who went to FanFest will have the capability of maxing out their skill tree. At the end of February, everyone, even people who didn't go to FanFest, will have the capability of maxing out their skill tree if they've done all of the Brilliant events. And so after that, I kind of think Brilliant events back down, but it depends on what they're going to do with the new skill trees. And yes, I am still thinking it's probably not going to see new skill trees until June. I would love to be wrong, but I don't think they're going to be any sooner than that. Now, what I'm thinking with the skill trees is that they're going to introduce a new item that you have to collect. So right now you have scrolls, you have red books, and you have green books. And the green books are kind of the time lock. They hold you from going too fast. The red books are the actual grind. And right up front, the first few levels, you're actually grinding scrolls, and you can't get enough scrolls. You got more than enough red books, but you can't get enough scrolls. So I'm thinking when they increase the skill trees, they're going to add one more item, and that being the new grinding item. How it's come about, I don't know. There are a bunch of different ways they can do that, through fortresses or foundables, or other ways that are you have to do tasks or different events. But then that being your grinding item, so that being the locking item for the next skill tree. You'll still need red books, you'll still need scrolls, but along with those, you also need the green books and this new item, whatever it is. So I think that would be kind of it'd be a good way to lock it, so that everyone who's been saving a ton of scrolls and books can't just dump them and finish the tree the moment it comes out, because that doesn't fit the gaming attitude, and that does not fit the way Niantic does anything. So I'm really expecting something else to come in. So the people who are saving lots of books and scrolls, I do not think that is going to be a huge benefit to save those, and they're really pushing people to go to different skills. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I'm really hoping we get more more storyline. That has been very surprising that we have not gotten much storyline. We get an occasional tidbit here and there in the Brilliant events, but the actual storyline, like it was in the SOS task, that was phenomenal. It was going great. I was really looking into that, and we've basically forgotten about the London 5. We have forgotten about the whole investigation. That whole storyline, no one's even touched it since August. And so it's kind of one of those things that All right, we got a question here from John Ogensberg. Man, John, I'm sorry. One of these days I'll get your name right. FanFest 2020 rumors, thoughts. Yeah, I already talked about that a little bit. I'm expecting FanFest 2020. I'm expecting them to do, well, my prediction is that they will do one in Indiana, exact same place as last year, and they'll do one in London. I don't know. I do not know the demographics and how many people are in different areas. I'm expecting they'll do it in Indiana because it's a good location across the United States. It's a fairly general location that people can fly into easily. And I don't think that they're going to move it around like they do with Ingress. I would like them to move it around, but I don't think they will because of the amount of production that they put into it. So we'll see how that goes. And Merry Christmas to everyone. I'm getting good. Yes, Felix Boozes. How about Polyjuice? Yes, I would love to see... the other thing that a lot of people have been talking about is the ability to join a fortress battle when you are at a different fortress. So to have a way of doing something by flue powder. And I think this would be a really cool way of, in a fortress, you have this fireplace on the side, and you can use the flue powder powder to connect with a friend in some other location. And that way the two of you can do a group fortress battle across distance. And I think this would be absolutely huge if you could do this for people who are playing rural. The problem with doing that is it is such a time-locked item, or it's such a server connection issue rate that if I were to do it a longer distance than, a few hundred miles, the lag becomes an issue. And if I try and do it from like here to Europe, you're going to see, 3, 4, 5 second lag, maybe more, depending upon how it's done. So I could see it being like different amounts of flue powder for how far away the person can be. Like you can connect to someone 200 miles away with this, you can connect to someone 1,000 miles away with this, and that way they can kind of control the speed range. But I would love to see a long distance connection at fortresses, because there are so many people who there are a few very lucky people who can regularly play with a group. Most people out there, the vast majority of players out there, cannot regularly play with a group, and every now and then may get lucky to have 1 or 2 other people join them. And group fortress battles are incredibly fun. They are a key part of this game that a lot of people just can't take part in. And I'd love to see them be able to fix that with some sort of mechanism like that. That would take an absolutely incredible amount of programming. The server capabilities for that would be, and I don't know if the fan base is big enough to actually justify that amount of input, but I think it would be really worth it. So back to the question that Lucia August, everybody can dance, asked about Polyjuice Potion. I would love to see this, and I've seen a few other ideas. One person being, you drink Polyjuice Potion and you can then change your profession and still maintain the amount your profession level. And I don't know exactly how they would figure that out and what the balance would be from one to the other. But yes, that would be a really cool idea to have a Polyjuice Potion. You get together as a group and you have 4 professors and an Auror. Well, it'd be really cool if a couple of the professors could take a Polyjuice Potion and then switch to Magi Zoo. That would be really sweet. Do you think we'll get new spells for that achievement? I really hope so. One of the achievements is number of spells cast, and there's actually a glitch in the game, and it's like 60 to 80%, I haven't found out exactly how many, have the glitch that gives 1 more spell. So they have 13 spells, but there's only 12 functional spells in the game. And so there are a few people like me and others who are topped out at 12, and then most people are topped out at 13. But there are only 12 spells currently in the game. So I am expecting more, but every time they add a new page, we don't see any new spells. I think that would be kind of cool. Along the line of spells, one of the big downsides for me when I first got into the game is that the spells are traced out for you, and so you don't have any reason to pick a spell. You don't have any reason to memorize what spells do what, other than you do automatically because you learn them. I would love that every trace would have 2 or 3 different spells that would work, or different spells that would have a different percentage of achievement. And so you could actually practice with which spell works better on a different character. I would love to be able to choose what spell I want to use. Or even, on the top, it has an option of 4 different spells, and you can trace them out and not have the guide on there. And so you get a higher ratio if you do it without the guide. I think that those would be really, really cool to play with, to be able to learn the spells. And that, I think that would make it feel far more like you are the wizard, because you have to learn them, and then you have to choose which one you're going to use. I would love, 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 love to be able to do that. So yeah. Yannick sorry, man. They could, for the new item, they could make it a 2-to-1 conversion ratio. I really do not think they will be able to convert items from one to the other. They're really trying to make the items that you have now go towards other professions. To make a conversion ratio would then eliminate the time needed to complete the tree. And so I don't think that they will be converting. That just does not fit into the normal system that Niantic creates. Normal system that Niantic creates, it is very obvious that WB does a lot more of the work in this game than Niantic. So I don't know how much of the coding effort goes between one and the other. So I mean, we could end up seeing this being something that is very un-Niantic, but who knows? From March on, if brilliant events go on, invest in another profession or save them for possible use for new skill tree. What I'm going to do, because this is the big question that a lot of people are asking, do I get another skill tree or do I just save everything hoping that the new skill tree uses these? What I'm doing is I'm saving a decent majority. So I'm going to be saving 60 books, and I'm going to be saving 100 scrolls, and then I'm going to save, probably end up saving like 30 or 45 green books. And anything I get over that, I'm putting into a new skill tree. And that way I'm trying to become double treed. Double professioned. There we are. So I'm saving a little bit because I am assuming that I'm going to need these for the new skill tree. I'm just assuming that I'm not going to need that much. So I am using the majority of what I'm getting now towards a second profession, though I am saving a certain buffer zone that I have those. So a little bit of both. Oh yeah, as to research, this is from Patricia Tackle. The research that I had been doing for fortresses is, I basically have to throw it out the window now, and I'm working on reworking it because there was so much confusion over the time needed. And then a lot of people didn't understand the difference between Challenge XP and Wizarding XP, and so both were entered in there. And so the numbers we're getting are totally off the wall, and it's just to the point where I don't know if I can clean out most of it. I'm probably going to end up saving about a quarter of it, but I think I'm going to rework the research to make it much cleaner and simpler so that more people can have a part of it. But we will see. Donald Stoner talking about the start button. Yes, the start button went away for the moment due to the glitch in the most recent update. They had to turn off the start button. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to use the new update, which they have to have for the events. So they had to turn off the start button. They're working on creating the patch for it, but apparently the problem goes much deeper than expected. So they are having to bring that back. So yeah, you're going to have to hang around for a little while and waste those extra 20 seconds or less. So, oh well, but we'll get that. The start button is coming back, so don't worry about it. It will be here. They have to program it to fix it. So hold your horses. It's coming. Relax. We'd like to see a change in planting in the greenhouses. I really like the idea of the greenhouses. I love being able to plant things and grow them. The timing issues on it, there are just a few things that aren't quite working out as expected. And it is a fantastic idea, but I think it's something that's going to have to change eventually. I'm seeing it very much like in Pokemon Go, there was training. So you could actually go to a gym and train your Pokemon. And it was a cool idea. But in the end, it was something that just wasn't working out, and they wanted to be able to do other things. So they dropped that and they added other things in. And I'm thinking sometime, I doubt it will happen anytime before late 2020. So we probably have another year or so with the greenhouses, but I'm thinking they will change something there eventually. Mary Young saying not being able to complete SOS assignments with 3 friends. Does that mean I'm stuck there? Yes and no. It is the last task you have to do, so it's not something to really worry about because you've completed the SOS task except for that one. And most people do travel. And if you ever travel, look up other sites. Like right now, I'm going up to Saskatoon, Canada in a couple weeks here. And so I went on Facebook and I looked for a Saskatoon group. I picked them up on one of the maps. And I found there's a group there, and I contacted them and say, hey, I'm coming up. Can I play with a couple people? Great. When you travel, look for other people. They are all over the place. So if you're not in a place with people, when you do travel, look them up, and everyone can complete that as long as you put a little bit of work into it. That being said, it is the last task, so it really doesn't matter that much. There aren't any other tasks hidden behind that. So don't worry about it. And when you do travel, look for other people. They're around. Do you think Niantic will add a fielding activity like Ingress? Oh, I wish. I was really there's a big difference between Ingress and Pokemon Go, and I was really, really expecting there to be a huge difference between Pokemon Go and Wizards Unite, and Pokemon Go really is grudgingly similar to Pokemon Go, to Wizards Unite, and I really wish there was a bigger difference between the two. So, yes, I would love to see a fielding method or something like that, but I don't think that there will be anything like that. They could come up with something else, but we'll see. Adventure Sync is coming soon. Okay, originally I said Adventure Sync was coming around the first of the year. So I'm going to make a prediction. Adventure Sync will come on my birthday. Adventure Sync will come on my birthday, February 14th. Yes, Valentine's Day. I was born on Valentine's Day. So that is my current prediction. We will see Adventure Sync on February 14th. But it is coming soon. Stay tuned. Let's see. Funny to hear you pronounce the name. Sorry, I'm horrible with pronouncing names to begin with. So that's just, names are not my strong suit. I asked my wife for that. How about traces that require multiple cells to succeed? That would be cool. Glyph hacking and fielding. I love Ingress. It's just a very, very different game. There are so many things about it that are unique and thought through differently. And so I would love to be able to see that. But yes, I'm doing multiple spells or a series of spells, like you have a 2-part foundable, and you have to be able to defeat this part of the foundable before you do this part of the foundable. I think that would be kind of fun. Though I know a lot of people would then start complaining that they're using up too much energy. But people always complain about everything. So, that's the way it goes. Yes, blue books. I don't know. We'll see. I do not think they'll be able to trade one book type for another, though. Doctor Who, the triple profession. Hey. I do know that I've seen at least one person who has maxed out 2 professions with all of the red books, and is almost there on the 3rd profession, although it wouldn't surprise me if someone out there has maxed out all 3 professions with the red books by now. As to let's see, Lucia August, everybody can dance. I like greenhouses. It's realistic. Plants take different times to grow. I don't have a problem with plants taking different times to grow. I think that they have that on the nose. I think the problem with them is that it's a very simple thing that doesn't have a huge reward. It's great for leaping toadstools because leaping toadstools are rather rare in the field. If you are running out of snowdrops and you're doing a lot of stimulo potions, they can be good for that. But most of the other things, there are a few people who grow each individual thing, but there aren't a lot of people who grow most everything in there. I don't know of anyone who grows ginger root, other than people who put it in there because they're going to put something in there. And so it just seems a little bit pointless for the general use of the game. Pointless is a bad way to put it. It is less effective for the general use of the game than we would expect a large feature like that to have. So I don't know. I think it just takes some reworking and refiguring. We'll see. It isn't just that they take different amounts of time. It's that they take really odd amounts of time. So if you work 8.5 hours a day, it would be cool if there was something that brewed in 9 hours. So you could brew it when you started, and there's something you could plant. It would take 9 hours. You brew it when you begin, and you'd be able to reap it right afterwards. But most of the things are 7 hours. Well, who works a 7-hour day? So you can't brew it before and after. You can't get it on your lunch break. 24-hour ones are great, but then you have to wait 24 hours. And I mean, they are worth it. The leaping toadstools are that. 1 hour is okay, but not too many people hang around a place for an hour. And so it's kind of one of those things that's like, yeah, okay, but we'll see. So I think that the timing of the different amounts of time could work out. Hey, Animagus, how's it going? And if anyone hasn't seen his channel, Animagus, you've got to go take a look at it. He is one of my favorite other YouTubers. Will we see a Dragons event before FanFest 2020? Yes, Dragons are one of those other pages that if they say anything about Dragons, it is awesome, and everyone's going to be there for it. But if they do it too often, then it's like, oh, it's another Dragon's Day. It's just like a brilliant event or something of that nature. It's just something that comes around, or even Community Day. It's something that's going to happen. And so I kind of expected to see Dragon's Day like twice, maybe 3 times a year. Something that doesn't happen that often, but when it does, it's big, it's huge, and everyone goes at it. So yes, I do expect to see Dragons or something like a Dragon's Day before FanFest. I think twice a year would be about the perfect ratio for it, but we'll see. Would it be cool to have a pop-up Weasley Quidditch tent that lasts for 30 minutes that has a fortress and inn? That'd be an interesting idea. So you would have a pop-up that you could put somewhere. That'd be a really, really interesting idea. There are so many cool ways they could do this, but again, it's the amount of programming it will take, and there's a lot of programming to make it work with so many different phones and things. Are you a Smurf or a Toad? I'm a Toad, because it ain't easy being green. Yes, and we all need to be enlightened. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you got to go to Ingress. Any chance to have a small amount of spell energy regenerate overnight? No. Question from Tess Stutton. No. The regeneration of energy is no. I really wish that they didn't call it spell energy, but they had it as an item rather than energy, because energy automatically assumes automatic regeneration, just by the term. The way it is programmed into the game, it is an item. It is a functional thing, so it is not something that can regenerate, and it really would not work well with the function of the game. So I do not expect that to happen. I don't think that they will have any regeneration coming for energy. Sorry, Lucia August. Got it. Yes, Adventure Sync. Woohoo! I like 24-hour ones because they drive. Yeah, I have a greenhouse about 3/4 mile away. It's the closest POI to my location, and so I try and twice a week I'll grow toadstools up there. And so as soon as the kids get on the bus, I go up there. Well, now the kids are home, and so they're like, hey, we're going to pick mushrooms. And I'm like, oh, we're going to pick mushrooms. Because they need mushrooms too, because they play along with me. But so yeah, I try and do that at the same time every day, or twice a week I'll go out there. Maybe a special from Quidditch World Cup event. That would be kind of cool. Oh, hey, Steph, how's it going? Good to have you in here. Steph A75. We should be allowed to open gifts, otherwise it's pointless. Sorry, Billy, I don't know what you're meaning there. We can open gifts. 10 of them every day. Has there been a pattern found? Which places are selected for fortresses. Ooh, okay. This is POI on the map. I would love to figure this out. We have an idea of what chooses the color of the inn, but so far we have a bunch of theories about what creates a fortress and what creates a greenhouse. And every time we come up with a good idea, it looks like it's not a good idea then. From what we can tell, it has to do with the likes or the number of pictures or the amount of information on a particular point of interest. The more information it has, the better chance it's going to be a fortress. So older locations have a better chance of being a fortress. But what exactly, I don't know. So far from what we can tell, if you create a new location, it will become an inn. But that may cause another older location to become a fortress. Though what that is, we have no idea. And there are some things that are really odd where you might have two fortresses right next to each other, or in the same cell, and that gets really confusing. And then greenhouses are like, who knows? I've got a location just down the road from me that has, it's about 2 acres in size, a really small section. It has 1 inn, 1 fortress, and 14 greenhouses. 14 greenhouses. What causes that? I don't know. It's like, I don't know. And then, just up the road from that, there's another location that has, it has 3 greenhouses and 1 inn. So what actually causes those? No idea. We have on the Hive Mind group, we have a group on there that's trying to figure it out. Anytime we see something new, we put up information on there. But so far, none of the patterns have made any sense. We've had a few times where someone's been able to move something and it changed it from a fortress to an inn, and then they moved it back and it changed it back into a fortress. And we've had a few times where we put a new location on the map and then a fortress popped up. But what caused that, we haven't been able to draw the lines yet. So lots more research to go. Would you say it's safe to use your green books to progress another class? Yes, I'm using them. I'm saving some, but I will be using them once I have a little bit of a stockpile on other professions. But who knows what they're going to do? They haven't told me, so they don't tell me anything. How about adding the option to overcharge a spell so you could get more chances to capture a foundable? There are a few games that do that where you can charge up the spell and use it, but I don't know. I haven't really thought about that enough to see how would that actually fix the function of the game. It would be an interesting idea. And there are lots of interesting ideas like that. So many events I want in the game, yes. They could create some kind of port key that will tell us. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. It would be kind of fun to have like flu powder, so you could have the flu network, and you could actually go from one location to another. That would be kind of cool. Or apparition, disapparition. That would be fun to learn. Did you hear about the bus? Yes, there is a bus in Germany that is completely loaded down. Actually, let me see if I can pull these up for you. Up here, and they completely decorated this bus in Wizards Unite stuff. Shoot, where is that? It was in here somewhere. I can't remember what. Was it in the Great Hall? It was posted on the Hive Mind here, and I'm trying to find all those pictures. I thought I could put them up here for you. But they completely decked out this bus inside and out. So like where you have the coin slot. Oh yeah, here. Oh no, there's just a few. Where they have the coin slot, there is the here we go. Let me see if I can pull this over for you. Full size, and then switch over to desktop. Oop, not that. Wrong switch. Sorry, trying to do this live is interesting. So here we go. Yeah, they have these pictures. Here we come up here to the top. So this is what the bus looks like from the outside. And then where you put the coins in, you have the Niffler here collecting coins that have fallen. And then there's the posters, as well as the roof is covered with the dragons, Harry flying through. Just a lot of little details on this that would make me think, oh, this would be absolutely awesome. I would love to spend a day on this bus, driving around and catching and returning foundables. I think that would be an absolute amazing time. So yeah, definitely got to take a look at that. And if you are in Hamburg, Germany, I would love for someone to shoot a video of that. And if anyone can shoot a video of that and send it to me, I'd love to actually post that up and show other people. Merry Christmas, Patricia. How's it going? I have 5 greenhouses and no inns near me. Yeah, one of the things that we do know about greenhouse location is if there is nothing else around, or if there are very few POI around, it is most likely that the individual standing one will be a greenhouse. And the reason for that being is with a greenhouse, you can get energy and you can get potion ingredients. If it were just an inn, then you wouldn't be able to get potion ingredients from it. And so it is more beneficial to make a lone location be a greenhouse than it is to be an inn or a fortress. Because of those, the greenhouse is the most functional for the items you need to play the game. I know other people are going to say, well, I'd rather it be a greenhouse because it's close. I'd rather it be a fortress because it's close to me. I want to go play at the fortress. And other people like I want to have an inn because I want more energy. So everyone's a little bit different in what they want. But functionally for the game usage, a greenhouse is the most valuable of the 3. AU Tiger Chick. I like that one. I started the game late, so many of the event pages are blank. Any chance of bringing those back? From what they have said, no. They will never bring back past events. But they said similar things about Pokemon Go, and every now and then something happens. And particularly now that it's been 4 years or so with Pokemon Go, they have been doing makeup events where they actually will open up things that have been in the past. And it wouldn't surprise me if a few years in the future they do that. This year, no. Next year, probably not. But 2, maybe 3 years, they may be opening up some of those old ones and seeing how those go. So stay tuned. We'll see. Wondering if you think they might have an April Fool's Day or event or similar that might focus on Fred and George. I would love that. That would be so awesome. If it was something like, Fred and George would be that. And you do know April Fool's is Fred and George's birthday. So yes. So that would be absolutely awesome to have a Fred and George or like a Weasley's event on April 1st. That would be, I'd be all over that. The other question that a lot of people have been asking, if you go into the challenge foundables and you scroll all the way over to the right, there are several wanted posters in different languages with some of the main antagonists in the stories. And whoa, man, there are so many different theories about what those are going. And I was really, really expecting that to be the challenge where they brought out the basilisk. I was really expecting that to be one of those, but it wasn't. So I'm really interested to see what they're going to do with those in the future. Part of me thinks that those are tied into the next skill tree because they are a challenge foundable, so they're in that challenge foundable list. So you kind of expect those to increase as we go along. As what's the word I'm looking for is as fortresses become bigger and there are more things added, then you can get those challenges. So lots of things like that. Just a second, gotta tell my wife something. Sorry, broadcasting to Google. I didn't want anyone else's Googles to go off the hook. So I got enough time for a few more questions. If anyone has questions, throw those in the chat and I'll answer those. But I'm probably going to be wrapping it up here in a minute. Yeah. April Fools, Fred and George, that would be absolutely awesome. Yes, happy Hanukkah. For those of you who started, it's what, third day of Hanukkah? Third day of Hanukkah today for us. We'd like to make a video, but Barbara Speck will try to make a video, but have not seen the bus myself yet. If you do get one, let me know. That would be really cool. Apparently, there's a big group playing in Germany, so maybe we'll see a fan fest in Germany. I think that'd be kind of cool. Part of me says it won't be in Germany because Pokemon Go is in Germany, so they're probably going to want to move it to a different place. Just like Pokemon Go is in Chicago, so there's a reason they're not doing Wizards Unite in Chicago as well. But we'll see how that goes. If they eventually bring back the Brilliant pages, do you think they will have the option to prestige for people who have completed it? I have no idea. Okay, I'm forced to make a prediction. If they bring back the Brilliant pages, will they make them prestigiable? Yes, they will. Yes, if they bring them back, they will make them prestigiable so that people who've played them in the past have a reason to continue playing. And if people had come late and they haven't done the page yet, then they would have to do far more during that Brilliant event to make up for it. So I think they might. That would be what I would do. But I don't know. That'd be kind of fun. Tonight is the third night. Yes. I have a good friend who celebrates Hanukkah, and I actually haven't done much of that. I should probably find out more about that since I tend to be with other people in other cultures. After FanFest, there was rumors about going to Asia and not Indy, maybe more than one FanFest in the world. Yeah, I am expecting. My prediction is that there will be two: one in Europe, one in England, one in London, and then one in Indiana, the same place. I don't think there'll be one in Asia. The fan base there just is not as big as people were expecting. But I don't know. I don't know what the fan base in different places are, so we'll see. What shall we do with the Brilliant Runestones? I don't know. I have at least one Brilliant Runestone from each of the Brilliant events that I have not used yet. And every now and then, when I need to do a low chamber and I don't need the challenge foundable, I'm just doing it for quickly grinding. Then I use the Brilliant Stones to waste them basically, but I don't have any particular one for it. What do you think about night bus tickets to take you to a fortress? We talked about a couple different ways of doing that already, so definitely go and take a look at what we said there. How about community day or special 3-hour event when they have nothing but emergency flares? That sounds really cool, but I don't see that being a possibility. Dragon's Day was probably about as close to that as you can get, in that the only reason for that would be the XP grind, because one of the problems with emergency flares is that you only need a few of them to complete the page. And so a lot of people would be getting them and then completing the page, or completing everything they need in that page, but still needing something else. And then every time you get another one, it would just be like, I don't need it. So I really like the way they're doing it and focusing on a page and making those, making the emergency flares far more common. That makes it so you can grind through that page and you can prestige up the page quickly, and putting the challenge foundables in a port key. I really like how they do that. That is a great idea. But just making just the emergency flares, it's an idea that would sound good and would have a lot of XP right off the bat, but I don't think it would actually functionally be good, because there would just be a lot of things that you wouldn't be able to, you would hit walls all over the place and be like, oh, I don't need another one of those. I need something else. I don't need another one of those. I need something else. So I think that it sounds good, but I don't know if it would actually be a good one. Though it would be great for XP. It would be an awesome XP day. But we'll see how the future goes. Okay, well, my wife just got back, so I'm actually going to wrap this up. No, I do it. I got. It is Christmas Eve, so that means we have to open up the rest of these. And because I haven't had a video out in a few days, because I've had Christmas with one family, then I had a second day of Christmas with one family, then we had the Christmas program at church. We've had a whole bunch of other things, so we got to do a few of these. So let's see. Next one we got to do is 20. So let's open up. Are we going to have a Wizards Unite event at Universal? I don't think so. They just haven't done anything with Universal yet, other than the initial. So today we got this one, which is Draco Malfoy. There you go, Draco. Let's see what's the next one. Thoughts of maybe a second gold key. I do not think they will ever release a second gold key, just because, like in Pokemon Go, they've never opened up a second incubator or main incubator. So I don't think they'll ever have a second gold key. So this one we've got someone. Oh, yes. We've got Hagrid. Little baby bobblehead Hagrid. That is cool. Thoughts about a community day or a special 3-hour event when they have nothing but... Oh, I already answered that one. Wish they'd give us an improved version of the tonic that would bring more often things that are not maxed out. Well, the tonic isn't for bringing rare things. The tonic is just for bringing things when you have nothing else to do. So like if I'm in a waiting room or something like that and there's nothing spawning here, I use a tonic just because I can bring more traces and I can actually do something. So the tonic isn't for rare things. It's just for what would commonly be found there. Let's see what we got in this one. And in this one, it's a redhead. There we go. We have our Weasley, redhead, Ron. Grumpy Ron sitting in the chair, hands in the pocket. I love it. That's good. Okay, let's see. And I'll be putting out a picture here on the socials with all of these set up. Let's see, what do we get for number 23? And number 23, we've got... Yes! Hermione in her dress. Oh, that is cool. Look at the detail in that dress. That is phenomenal. I'm really looking forward to putting out pictures on these. These are really, really cool. I mean, even earrings and hair curls. That is great. They did a good job on that one. Okay, let's see. We have the last one. I bet you can't guess who is in the last one. I think the Rufio's Brain Tonic should buff more than just XP. Maybe. It is kind of interesting because there are different types of XP in the game. It's not just Wizarding XP. There are also other XPs, so that might be an interesting way, but we'll see. An improved version of the Dark Detectors. They just improved the Dark Detectors. They are phenomenally good. Dark Detectors are absolutely amazing. I use them every chance I can. So, yeah. All right, let's see. Who do we get? Harry in his full dress robes. That is cool. Yes, I would love to see the Christmas Voldemort. So, whoop, oh no, Harry's dropped Harry. There we go. I'll be putting out a picture on the socials here with all of these. And then with the next video, we will go back to doing chocolate frogs. So I got a bunch of those that people have sent me. So yeah, the whole thing. Cool. Well, I think that'll about do it for today. So thank you everyone for joining me, and we'll be having more fun in the future. And until next time, have a magical day. Now you have to play the game and find that end button. Where is it? It's somewhere around here. It's somewhere like... that's good. Is this still going? Why are you not ending? Oh, hey, we're still on. Why is this video not ended yet? I click the end button. Are you sure you want to end? Yes, end. It's still going. So let's try this. See what happens to that. Here, I can turn the light back on. Ah, for some reason it bumped me out of my account. So let's try scheduling back in. So any last minute questions? You expect the end credits from Holy Grail. Come on. Okay, now we're back in. Okay, so now I can end it. So we click the end.